Today I'm going to show you guys how to make the viral seafood boil fried cabbage the right way. Absolutely packed with flavor, delicious, quick, easy, and inexpensive. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. Alright guys, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and get the veggies prepped. Now, I'm doing this in a way that's going to be shareable, something that you can serve as an appetizer or a main course for dinner. We're going to start with the corn. I'm going to break the corn in half with my hands and then basically cut them into little ribs. This part is optional as well. You can leave them whole if you want to, but this is going to be a little bit more enjoyable. Just be careful. Make sure you got a nice sharp knife. One more cut. Now, as with most recipes, this is totally customizable. If you have some bell peppers or jalapenos, you can add them to the party as well. Today we're just going with onion, some corn, and our potatoes. Keeping it pretty authentic to a seafood boil flavor pairings and ingredients for the most part. Now, I got to give a shout out to my guy Grubby from Blue Kitchen. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, check him out. But I've been seeing a million people make this all over TikTok and Instagram. But he made it the way that I think makes the most sense, where you basically, chop everything up, make a fried cabbage, because it's shareable. There we go. If you just cut a hole in your cabbage and then put everything on the inside, it's hard to, share that. If you're eating one whole head of cabbage to yourself, then, suit yourself. But I think it makes more sense this way. So that's the way we're doing it. We're going to go ahead and dice up our cabbage just like we would for fried cabbage. Remove the core here that's not going to get as tender. And just give it a nice dice. Dice up your onion. We're going to parboil our potatoes so they're nice and tender. Towards the end of that process, we're going to drop the corn into that salted water as well. Par cook that. That way, when it's time to add everything to the cabbage, everything's nice and tender and perfectly cooked. Now, as far as the protein goes, we're using smoky andouille sausage, very traditional in seafood boils. And we also have some jumbo shrimp that are needle deveined. So don't judge me in the comments. They are needle deveined. They come from Wegmans. I am leaving the tails on for controversy, so feel free to argue and yell about that in the comments if you must. But that's what we're doing. I'm going to cut these andouille sausage pieces into, I guess these are half moons, you would say. We're going to get them nice and crispy. Then we're going to brown or, start to cook our shrimp in that sausage fat. Build some great flavors, make our seafood boil sauce, set that to the side, make our cabbage, and then mix everything together in one pot and serve it up. This is going to be absolutely delicious, guys. If you haven't tried this recipe yet, you have to. You also can find this recipe and all of my recipes at MrMakeItHappen.com. If you want to get fancy and throw some crab meat in here or some lobster, by all means do your thing, but it's a recession. Today we're doing sausage and shrimp. Keep it nice and inexpensive. All right, guys, next up, we're gonna get started on frying our cabbage, but that starts with cooking our andouille sausage. So we're gonna go ahead and get all of this delicious, smoky, slightly spicy andouille sausage into our skillet that we're gonna use to fry the cabbage. I'm gonna make the seafood boil sauce separately because one of the things I see people mess up on all the time is making a sauce that separates and it becomes too oily. That typically happens because you're cooking the butter at too high of a heat. So we're going to cook that separately. So stay tuned for that part of the recipe. But first things first, we got to get this sausage browned up, allow it to release some of that fat and flavor. That's going to be the foundation of flavor for our cabbage. Once the sausage is perfect, we're going to remove that, cook our shrimp a little bit, sear it in that sausage fat as well. Then remove the shrimp and fry our cabbage up. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and kill the heat and then add in our shrimp. I don't want the shrimp to, char up too bad, so I'm gonna do it with the residual heat from the pan just to get some color. If the pan gets too cold, I can turn the heat back on low, but you always wanna make sure you're managing your temperatures. You don't want your pan to be too hot when you're cooking the shrimp. So I'm gonna add these in. That flavor from the sausage plus the Cajun seasoning is really gonna enhance the flavor of the shrimp, and also gonna leave behind some residual flavor for that cabbage. All right, so you see all of that beautiful flavor at the bottom of the pan. We're gonna go ahead and add the cabbage right on top of that. Cabbage is made of mostly water, so a lot of water is gonna expel from the cabbage during the cooking process. That's gonna help, get up all of that delicious flavor off the bottom of your pan. But you can also use your spatula to scrape some of that fond up off the pan as well. We're gonna get this going, kind of mix it in, hit it with some seasoning, cover it with a lid so it can steam and start to soften up. And then we'll add back in all of our other ingredients. While this is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and make that delicious seafood boil sauce. Now, my friends, it's time for the seafood boil sauce. We're gonna get the party started with about a tablespoon of avocado oil. We're gonna saute these onions. That's gonna be the foundation of flavor, or part of it, to get the party started here. Then we're gonna add in that garlic right after the onion starts to soften up and saute. Garlic and onion, can't go wrong with that combination. We're gonna add a little lemon zest, lemon juice, some Zatarain's crab and shrimp boil, some chicken bouillon powder, some Worcestershire sauce, a little paprika, and some Cajun seasoning. Also my buttery garlic pepper seasoning. If you don't have that, you can get that on my website, or just use whatever seasoning blend you like on your seafood boils. The key here, guys, is when you add the butter, you do not want this to be too hot. You want the butter to emulsify, the sauce to be smooth, not oily. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, but we gotta start by sauteing these onions. All right, guys, so at this point you can go in with some chicken broth or 1 cup of water. We have the chicken bouillon in there, so basically it's chicken broth. Once you add the water, we're gonna go in with about a 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup, just to kind of deglaze and start to build our sauce a little bit. So we're gonna bring this up to a boil, and then we're gonna add our Worcestershire sauce, and then kill the heat and then add in the butter and slowly incorporate the butter into the sauce. That way it emulsifies and stays nice and silky smooth. You could even add a splash of cream if you want to. If you want to do like an Alfredo-ish cream sauce kind of spin on this recipe, that would be delicious as well. You really can't go wrong here, guys. Tons of flavor in this, and that's going to flavor that cabbage tremendously. A couple dashes of worst word in the world sauce. Then once it cools off a bit, we'll start to add in that butter. So now we're in the home stretch. We're gonna add everything to one pot. That delicious sauce is gonna bring everything together. The potatoes are already tender, the corn is already tender, the cabbage is tender, the shrimp and the sausage are all the way cooked. Now we're just gonna infuse all that flavor, mix everything together, let it become one happy family. Just get in there and fold everything together, cover with the lid, give it about 10 minutes or so to really let the flavors marry. And then we're gonna plate this up with a little extra sauce, because why the hell not? We're here for a good time, not a long time. And this is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, people, I found my fork. This smells and looks amazing. Almost too good to eat. Keyword being almost. This is going to be like a multi-bite taste test here. Quick reminder, guys, you can find this recipe and all of my recipes at MrMakeItHappen.com. The sauce. Sweetness from the corn. This is kind of like diet approved too. Try this one.